Hi folks, Pastor Charles here. I just wanted to weigh in real quickly on the AI developments that we're seeing in our world today. As most of you know, I don't make any bones about it. I don't hide it or anything. I'm a songwriter. I've been writing songs for decades, many decades. But I don't play an instrument and I don't write music. I've sung in choirs my whole youth, including college choirs, and been a soloist. And I have probably a little bit better working knowledge of things musical than many people, because when you sing in college choirs and high school choirs and stuff, there's a lot of musical terminology and what have you that you learn. You learn to read music, that sort of thing. So I use some AI music generating programs to help me put music to my songs. I use the programs to generate the music that I'm hearing in my head, you might say, for the song. In other words, I don't just put my lyrics in and then let the AI just spit out whatever tune it wants to spit out. No, I work with it. Most people are not aware of how these AI music programs work, but because they advertise on the internet and stuff, just put in an idea and it'll create a song for you. Yeah, you can do that, but these programs are way more complex than that. They offer someone who wants to create their own specific music. It offers them those tools as well. So if you have a tune that you want to create music for, like, for instance, if I wanted to create a soundtrack for one of my songs so that I could sing my own song, but I don't play an instrument. So if I wanted to create a soundtrack, I can go into my phone and or a digital recorder, this is part of the process I use for most of my songs, and I can sing a cappella the song that I have in mind. I can sing, it's an opportunity to see a victory. It's a chance to see God's glory. Oh, it's a window into eternity. It's an opportunity to see a victory. Now, I just sang for you a couple of lines from one of my songs. If you look on my Facebook music profile, you'll find that song, It's an Opportunity. I did what I just did now. Of course, I did it a little bit better then. And I sang and created a digital file of me singing not just a few lines, but the whole song. And you sing all your lyrics, and then you feed that into the AI. And it's able to listen, in effect, to what you give it, and then it's able to use whatever instruments you dictate. Now, again, you don't have to dictate. It'll just create a random, musical, if you want a random musical. I don't do anything random, okay? Everything I do on AI, I dictate every single thing, everything. I dictate the tempo, the beat. I know enough about music to tell it I want a 4/4 tempo, I want a 2/2 tempo. I know enough about music to do these things. I know enough about music to use the Italian composing terms. If I wanted to do certain things, then I put in the prompts at the specific location within my lyrics for it to do exactly what I want it to do. It is so complex that trying to explain it is really difficult. But every song I write, I have a thought in my head, okay, this song, for instance, the other day, I did a song that was kind of a kind of a country secular song. And at the same time, it had a certain amount of a blues element. And I called it If Tears Were Pennies. And I did not just go into AI and say, I want a song about, if tears were pennies. And boom, here it wrote me a song and spit out music. No, not even close. I wrote the song. I wrote every syllable, every letter, every word of it, okay? Then I went into the program and I said, okay, this is what I want it to sound like. Then the AI generates music based on what I've told it. Not only do I write the song, not only do I give it the musical foundation, but then also I arrange it. So I literally have it arranged so that if I want the song to start with the chorus and then do verse 1 and then do the chorus and then do verse 2, and then maybe it's a little bit longer a song. It has, 3 or 4 verses. So in order to keep the length shorter, instead of doing verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, verse 3, chorus, so on and so forth, instead you do verse 1, chorus, and then maybe verse 2, verse 3. You let them run consecutively, and then you do the chorus again. There are many different techniques you can use when composing. But I lay out the composition, everything. I'm the one who determines what the outro is going to be. That's part of writing the song, is writing the outro or the tagline at the end of the song. If you're not going to actually do an outro, you're just going to have it say, repeat a line from the song as to kind of bring it to a close. That's a tag, or I write the tag. That's all part of the songwriting process. Now, I'm saying all this to say this, okay? I don't want to be getting all technical here. It takes me an enormous amount of time. I write a song a day, literally. I'm a prolific writer. I've always been a prolific writer. I love to write. I don't know what it is about me, but I love to write. And I tend to get inspiration constantly. I'll see something or I'll get an idea. Next thing you know, I've got a thought going through my head. And I'm saying, there's a song in that, And when I was preaching, it was the same thing with sermons. I think, well, there's a sermon in that, same exact kind of a thing. You get inspiration from various places and things. But so I'm constantly writing, literally. And I can easily, on average, produce a song a day. But I'm investing literally 12 to 14 hours a day to put that one song together. Because when you go into the AI, this is what I've tried to tell Tommy, you're dealing with a really stupid person, okay? If you look at the artificial intelligence right now, where the technology is right now, if you look at it as a human being, he's kind of stupid. He's kind of dense, okay? AI is not at all at the place where you can communicate with it like you're talking to a human being. It feels like it when you're dealing with Google AI or you're dealing with chat, GPT or whatever. It feels in effect like you're talking to a person, but what most people don't realize is you're talking to a dummy, okay? Because when you're asking questions or when you want it to produce an image or you want it to produce whatever, or in my music program, you have to know how to provide the prompts, or the commands is really what it is. You have to know how to provide the prompts or the commands that are specific enough so that it gets it and so that it'll do what you're asking it to do. A lot of times, and I mean like 60% or better, it won't do what you're telling it to do, at least on the first or second try. So I wind up putting in all this information. I get everything laid out for my song. I know exactly what I want it to sound like. I've given it music, a tune to work with, a melody. It's got all the information, and then it'll turn around and spit something out to me that is so far off the mark. I'm like, what on earth is this mess? What is wrong with this program? And then I'll tell it, this is nowhere near what I'm trying to go for, And not the music programs, because you don't communicate with them like you do a person. You just put in the prompts and you get, So with when I'm doing my music, I have to go back in and say, okay, well, how do I need to reword this so that this dummy gets what I'm trying to tell it? How do I, what kind of prompt do I need to use? What do I need to do an in-lyric prompt to get it to do what I want it to do, or do I simply put it in the main prompt window? Folks, I'm telling you, professional music producers and musicians, look at YouTube. Just look up professional musicians that use AI, and you'll get a whole pile of videos that'll come up. I watch them because I've never produced music before, so I'm trying to learn, And I am a researcher by nature. I research everything to death, okay? And so there are, according to some of the music producers that I watch on YouTube and stuff, they say that the vast majority of music producers today are using AI. They may not want to admit it, they may not want to tell you, but they are. And I don't mean they're necessarily using it for everything, like I do as far as creating the entire melody, putting the entire melody to music or what have you. But they use it at some level, okay, whether it be just part of a song or an instrument, or maybe they use it with a voice in order to create a demo of a song. I've spoken with people online who are professional songwriters, and they've told me I use it all the time. I create demos with it. I create a version of my song. I had one fella tell me, he said, I've sold many, many songs using a demo of my song that I created with Suno, for instance. And there are many different programs, AI music programs. I use almost every one of them, and they cost me a fortune. The annual price on many of these is over $200 a year, because each one kind of has its own qualities. I use several different programs, and then there's ACE, which is a much, 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 much more technical, much more in-depth program where you can go in and edit. Literally, you can go in and edit a note. You can go in and edit a word. It's extremely technical. When I say I produce my music, folks, I'm telling you right now, I produce my music. I'm not talking about this being some simple little process, no. It takes me at least on average, I would say the fastest, my dogs are over here wanting to bark at the neighbor's dog. The fastest that I can generally produce a song, if everything kind of goes right and it gets my orders, my commands, my prompts quickly, and it picks up the tune I've given it and all that, I might be able to get it done in, say, 4 or 5 hours, okay? However, if it doesn't get everything right away and I wind up having to go through dozens and dozens and dozens of iterations before I finally, the song I released earlier today, oh dear Lord, I don't know how many hours I invested in that song. I am the one, again, this is what I'm saying, I lay out the entire arrangement, the tune, everything. I wanted it to have the lead singer sing the first half of the line, the lyric. And then I wanted the rest of the group to pick up in on the second half of the lyric, of the line, I should say. And I kept trying to get the program to do that. And it would do all kind of different, it'd have the whole groups, the whole thing, because it's supposed to be a quartet singing, okay, a mixed gender quartet, men and women. And it would have the whole group singing everything. And then it would have the whole group singing the wrong parts. And it would, it was crazy. And here I spend hours going in and making sure that I have the right prompts in the right places. I want these I want this person singing this part of the line. I want this singing this part of the line. I want the, and I've spent all the time to lay all the commands out and lay all the prompts out so that the song will come out exactly the way I'm wanting it arranged. And it still pumps out some kind of nonsense. And I wind up having to try again. And I have, again, each time I have to kind of maybe change the way I word a prompt or change the way I give a command, whatever the case might be. And on average, I go through like 40 to 60 different versions before I get to the final product. And by the time I reach the song sounding the way I meant for it to sound, I've spent hours, and I have spent so much energy and time trying to make it, I started to tell you a minute ago, I'm sorry, you know me, I get off track. When I did Pennies from Heaven, for instance, the whole concept of that song is that the guy singing is broke and, kind of out on his luck. And so I wanted for that song, I wanted an extremely simple backdrop musically. Well, piano is kind of your anchor instrument, okay? So I said, I want piano, but aside from the piano, all I want is a acoustic guitar, as if that guy is sitting there strumming on an acoustic guitar, and maybe he's got a friend playing piano. And then, of course, you need a drum, just a gentle drum, to keep the beat, and to help create some tempo. And so I had those three instruments. That's it. Because of the nature of the song, it just fits the song to have those three instruments providing the backdrop. You determine how loud those instruments are to be. You determine how strongly they're supposed to be played. You determine, everything. I do anyway, okay? So I produce the murder out of my songs, all right? Every single one of them. If I have a song that is dealing with, let's say, the rapture, the one I did that I put out earlier today, as a matter of fact, I was talking about heaven and, what joys, we're going to experience in heaven. And so I talk about, in the chorus, I talk about playing a harp. Well, obviously then it almost makes sense that you might want to have a harp playing as part of the backdrop to the song, because you're talking about heaven, you're talking about harps, playing harps, So having the harp as part of my instrumentation for that song, again, I make every one of those decisions. That's all part of the production process. And there are very foolish people online, and I'm so tired of them. I'm sick and tired of them, I'll be honest with you, who they don't like AI, and they're mad at AI, and AI is going to take away jobs, and blah, 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 blah. And I understand all that. I'm not even arguing with a lot of that, okay? I'm a broke dude, all right? That song, Pennies, if Tears for Pennies, wasn't too far from the truth, all right? I can't afford to hire a band or musicians. I can't afford to hire singers. I cannot afford to hire a studio, because you pay by the hour for studio time. When you hire out a studio, you either have to have your own or you have to hire a producer. You got to have a sound tech. You wind up having to have several people there provided by the studio that cost you by the hour. Many years ago, when I was evangelizing, I've told you, I've sung for decades. People used to ask me, do you have any records? And I said, no, I've never made a record, and I still have never made a record. Nowadays, I couldn't if I wanted to, because my allergies are so bad as I'm getting older. Literally, they want to do surgery in my sinus because my whole sinus is messed up. I can't sing near as well as I used to. So Obviously, I wouldn't be able to, do an album these days. But I'm talking 30, 40 years ago, I looked into what it would cost maybe to do an album. And my God almighty, at that time in the 80s, it was thousands of dollars per song. Okay? These AI music programs, yeah, there are a lot of people that just use it as a hobby. They do, they use it for fun. They get a kick out of being able to say, I want to make a song out of a dog with gas. And poof, Suno produces a song about dogs with gas, music, lyrics, the whole 9 yards. And they literally use one credit, they do one iteration, they put it in, it spits it out. They put it online because they get a chuckle out of it. And everybody thinks that that's the only way these programs can be used. And they don't understand that, no, that's not even close to the only way these programs can be used. People who are much more technical, much more musically savvy and all that, these same identical programs like Suno, like TAD, like Ace, what have you, they have got the tools built into their program for people who want to control every single tiny aspect of the production of the song. And that's how I use it. And I've watched, as I've said, I've watched producers online, and they do the same identical thing I do. Identical. I watched them, and they talk about it. And so when I say my songs are written and produced by me, I mean exactly what I'm saying. They are written and produced by me. And I put that on my songs for a reason. I put that right on the cover because I'm not claiming that I played the music or created the music, that I hired musicians to do it and what have you. I've always been anybody who knows me, you folks that have followed my ministry for any length of time, you know that I'm a blunt and extremely honest and straightforward person. I hate deception. I hate it with a passion. And so therefore, I have been honest and upfront. I'm like, hey, I use AI to create the music, okay? But I keep saying over and over and over again, but I produce that to death, okay? I am in every single aspect of that production. There's not a note in it that I don't approve before it goes to market, so to speak, okay? Before I'm trying to get it to sound like it sounds in my head is basically what it amounts to. And now, I said all that to say this. I mentioned to you a minute ago how that the program constantly spits out goofy stuff and it screws up a lot. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, any company that's out there that would replace a paid employee with an AI program right now at this point in the AI development, they're out of their head. They are out of their head. AI is nowhere near developed enough. Yeah, it can do a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. It can do a lot. But it has not been refined and it has not been solidified anywhere near well enough for anyone to really put a whole lot of stock in it as it relates to doing a human being's job. Okay? I use Google AI a lot when I'm doing projects around the house. I have over here in my house, I went and, I don't know if I can turn my screen here a minute. I'll show you. Okay. If you look over here, I've got to see, because I can't see. Here we go. There you go. I created my own solar array, and I literally assembled and built this tower and installed the solar panels. I did the entire battery bank from scratch. This is not a plug-and-play system. This is not, you have a machine that you simply plug your solar panels into, and boom, you've got electricity. No, I literally wired this. Matter of fact, I put the connectors on the wires and the whole 9 yards. Well, in the process of doing this project, if I had any questions, if I wasn't exactly sure how to do a certain thing, I would use Google AI, and I would ask it, how do you put a connector onto this kind of wire and blah, blah, blah. And if it told me, well, you need a special tool or you need this or you need that, then I would go out and get that, So I have used AI apart from the music aspect quite a lot, because I am constantly doing stuff around the house. I got a project behind me. If you can see the metal here, believe it or not, that is a hot water heater. I built it for my property out in the country. It actually would heat water. I can do it two ways. I can either do it by reason of the sun heating it. If there's not enough sun, I'm able to build a fire under the tank and heat the water with fire. And I built this. I designed it and built it myself. I do a lot. I'm a very creative person, always have been. I like to do a lot of things. I've got projects around here in my yard right now that would blow your mind. I'm literally looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. I built myself a food dehydrator over here that has fans in it that are operated by solar. It's got solar panels on the outside of it. Let me see if I can show it to you real quick. You see, here we go. There you go. See the solar panels on the side? When the sun is out and shining, those solar panels cause fans at the bottom to begin to blow, and then there's fans at the top, and it pulls air up through. And it's made out of clear plastic material so that in the heat of the sun, the interior of that gets real hot like the inside of a car. And then if I have trays with screen that I've built, and you put your sliced, carrots or peaches or grapes or whatever you want to put on there to dehydrate, and over the course of time, the hot air and the air circulation will dry out all the moisture, so you have dehydrated fruit, vegetables. You can also dehydrate meat. So all these things, I've built. And if there was anything I was doing and I didn't happen to know, well, how exactly do I do this, or how? Or a lot of times if you buy something online, like say the fans, and they're Chinese and they come with bad instructions or something, then I would ask the AI, this device doesn't have good instructions. Can you tell me how I'm supposed to do this? How am I supposed to connect this to this or that to that? And it's able to tell me. So I've made real good use of AI in terms of my inventions and my creations around the house. And again, you say, well, Pastor, why are you sharing all this? I'm trying to help you understand, folks. I have used it a lot. And I'm here to tell you, I told Tommy today, and this is the point of this whole video, believe it or not. If you work somewhere, or if you are an employer, or if you are a manufacturer, or you are in business, and you're contemplating getting an AI program and replacing a paid worker with an AI program, I'm going to tell you a little secret. You are a fool to do it right now. You are an absolute fool. The AI is fantastic. It does a lot of stuff, and it's very impressive, but it is so full of kinks and so full of errors, and I mean, it is so undependable that I told Tommy, I said, honestly, I think any major company or any company that would try to take on AI and replace a paid employee with AI right now at this point in its development, I think they're insane. I really do. I'm not joking when I say this, because people think AI is so advanced and, it's gotten so far. No, it's fantastic, but I guarantee you it's not but at maybe 30 or 40% of where it needs to be to function and be completely and totally reliable. So therefore, I told Tommy today, I would recommend to anybody that's thinking about using AI in business, manufacturing, whatever, I would wait 5 years at least. I would wait at least 5 years. There is no way in the universe they're going to have the kinks worked out in time to work the way it's supposed to work without a lot of problems in less than that period of time. Anyway, that's my advice for today. All right? We'll talk to you again soon. God bless.